Hello all, and welcome to our mini lecture on Chapter 8, which encompasses race, ethnicity, and language. Let's go ahead and get started. Some of the ways that children and families you will serve are related to race, ethnicity, national origin, and language. Saying that, and then we'll continue to our objectives, and then I'll continue about that later. So our objectives, our first objective is to identify various forms of diversity, including race, ethnicity, immigration status, dual language learning, or DLL, family structure, religion, socioeconomic status, or SES, gender, and disabilities. Our second objective is to explore how categories of diversity influence learning. Our third objective is to offer a supportive and inclusive environment to children and families with diverse needs. And our fourth objective is to engage families to become active participants and to provide respectful opportunities for them to share their experiences. Moving right along to culture, ethnicity, and race. Culture, language, ethnicity, race, and national origin are related concepts by which individuals are assigned to social groups, but they are not one and the same. For example, persons of African descent living in the Caribbean, Latin America, Nigeria, South Africa, or the United States may be classified as falling within the same racial category, but they do not belong to the same cultural groups. Although language, ethnicity, and national origin may be associated with culture, none of them alone define a specific cultural group. Culture is an umbrella term. So picture an umbrella with like all of its little points. And this umbrella term encompasses the social behavior, institutions, and norms found in human societies, as well as the knowledge, beliefs, arts, laws, customs, capabilities, habits, values of the individuals in these groups. On the other hand, race is a social construct that has no basis in culture, biology, or genetics. Race is a social category that is based either on self-identification or how individuals are seen by others. Ethnicity refers to a group's identity and denotes a people bound by a common, broad past. Members of an ethnic group often share a common ancestry, history, and sometimes language. However, ethnicity and culture are not always the same. Individuals may not necessarily identify strongly with the group to which they are assigned in the mind of others. Ethnicity is a useful concept because it signals a group identity and a sense of connection and belonging. Finally, national origin is the nation where a person was born or where that person's ancestors come from. It also includes the diaspora of multi-ethnic states and societies that have a shared sense of common identity, identical to that of a nation, while being made up of several component ethnic groups. Programs can use culturally responsive strength-based framework, the CRSB framework, which is used by Head Start to address diversity. This framework presents the big picture and identifies the program pieces that support the growth and development of all children. Coupled with a culturally responsive approach, the CRSB framework is a strengths-based approach. The focus is on what children know and can do, as opposed to what they cannot do or what they do not know. Culture, family, and individual strengths are emphasized, not just the negative and proposed interventions to fix the problem that resides with the children, their families, and/or the communities. This is a cup half full approach, showing that young children do not live in a vacuum, but coexist in many environments that affect their development, starting with the family, extending into the community, and reaching out into the economic and political spheres of their lives. So what can programs do in regards to race, ethnicity, culture? The first thing is to be mindful of refugee and immigrant families coming to the United States. Refugee and immigrant families come to the United States with a wealth of parenting strengths, drawing on culture, tradition, and family experience. Like most parents in the United States, they tend to be responsible and nurturing and have often sacrificed tremendously to provide their children with an opportunity for safety and success in this new country. At the same time, families that are new to the US have often experienced incredible loss and trauma, including the loss of extended family members, community, and homeland. And they must adapt to new traditions and lifestyles that are often at odds with their own beliefs and practices. Refugee and immigrant families also must overcome cultural, language, and practical barriers to learn about and access the community services that are available to them as having newly arrived to the US. For refugee and immigrant children and youth, it is important to help them nurture a strong and positive connection to their ethnic heritage, to maintain their home language, and to develop a positive bicultural identity as Americans. This helps to keep families strong and thereby provides the support that children need to succeed in this country. Additionally, learning more about families is an important part of creating a relationship and gaining valuable information about a child's culture. Dual language learners, in other words, DLL, means a child who's acquiring 2 or more languages at the same time, or a child who is learning a second language while continuing to develop their first language. Language is essential in developing a strong sense of culture and overall learning. Children who are dual language learners bring a wealth of ability and knowledge, as well as varied cultural backgrounds to early childhood settings, such as your classroom. They also require curricular adaptations to make the most of their abilities while they progress towards full English proficiency. Families matter. The education of children who are dual language learners is enhanced when preschool programs and families form meaningful relationships. It is through these relationships that teachers will, such as yourself, will not only learn about the home language use, but the hopes and aspirations that parents have for their children's overall development. Recognize existing language and literary strengths in the home language. English, I'm so sorry. Recognizing existing language and literacy strengths in the home language. There we go. Engaging in multiple literacy practices such as reading books, singing songs, and reciting poetry is a part of the daily life of many families. It is important to recognize that dual language learners have a variety of literacy experiences in their home language that range from an emphasis on oral language development to literacy activities involving print. Finally, respecting cultural values and behaviors reflected in the child's language and communication. Language and culture are highly integrated, so attention must be paid to the cultural values and behaviors, which are embedded in both language and communication style of the home language and the new language being learned. Multilingualism is an asset to individuals, families, and our entire society. Early childhood educators such as yourself can share the benefits of bilingualism with families, find ways to support children's home languages, and encourage families to keep their language strong. The race, ethnicity, national origin, language, and other cultural considerations are important aspects of diversity for early childhood educators to be aware of. Partnering with families will allow you to learn about the unique culture of the families you serve. Families that are immigrants, refugees, and asylees should be recognized for their strengths and may need support as they navigate unfamiliar systems to access resources. It is important that programs promote bicultural identities. The home language of dual language learning children should be recognized and valued. Teachers such as yourself should make sure that families understand the value of multilingualism. that is a wrap for our chapter 8 mini lecture. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or just want to chat, I am more than available via Canvas inbox or my email. That is all for now. I hope everyone has a great rest of their week.